Everybody thinking about Gregg Popovich today and the legacy he leaves behind, the winningest coach in the history of NBA regular season basketball, an icon in this league and the NBA, but also too, Vin, the city of San Antonio.
Yeah, not really surprising to me today, Nate. I mean, we knew this news of some sort was coming, so it didn't shock me when the email came from Spurs that he was going to step aside and that Mitch Johnson would take over. We got double the news. I didn't expect that today, but we got both forms of news. But I think the man wrote his journey, Nate, long ago, and he was going to be able to write his own ticket out of here, whatever he wanted that to be. It's exciting that he'll still be within the organization in this new role, and to see Mitch named today, it's been fairly a flawless day from their end. It's a lot of stress on us. I was on my way actually to a high school baseball game when I got text messages from my guy here in the newsroom, and I knew this day was going to change, and what a day it's been.
The thing about Gregg Popovich, too, that I think stands out that on the minds of many Spurs fans today is that Coach Pop left this job in a much better place than he found it, obviously, taking over in 1996. Gregg Popovich, as I mentioned, the winningest coach in the history of NBA regular season basketball, 5 championships, all here in one city. You just don't see that a whole lot in the NBA these days. Guys moving from job to job, the recycling of coaches. Now the next, I was reading that the next longest tenured head coach is Erik Spoelstra, but since Gregg Popovich took over, there have been over 300 coaching changes in the NBA at every other job, but the main constant here in San Antonio, Coach Pop.
You know what, when they say the Spurs way, it works. It has worked, and he was the gold standard. This has been the gold standard franchise. They have drafted well. He's a legendary coach. He knows how to do X's and O's out there. And I know that in the beginning, we were talking earlier, maybe the transition wasn't entirely easy.
We got to give him
Spurs
some space,
Nation.
let him make some mistakes.
But I think we can put all that to rest now. 5 banners later and a bunch of Hall of Famers later, I think things are fine.
You talk about Bob Hill. I think it's so fascinating, too, and I don't think a lot of people know this, especially people outside of San Antonio, but when Gregg Popovich first took the Spurs head coaching job, many people around San Antonio weren't happy with the hire because Pop started in the Spurs front office, and then midway through the 96 season, he relieved Bob Hill, who
was not popular.
It was not.
It was not. Yeah, It was not at all. It was a shocking move, and I think David had been injured, David Robinson, so people thought that Bob deserved an opportunity to right the ship, but Pop bet on himself. And can you say that bet really has paid off?
Yeah, we've got video right here, these highlights we dug up of Gregg Popovich's first win over the Dallas Mavericks. That was back in December in the mid-'90s. There were fans holding up signs at the games that were calling for Pop's job, if you can believe it, because they were so unhappy that he'd relieved Bob Hill of his duties and then stepped in himself. But what a bet that turned out to be. Now, 29 years later, there's Gregg. Look at those signs right there. A Spurs fan holding up a sign to fire Gregg Popovich as head coach. That's the winningest coach now, Vin, in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, I think those signs will relieve their duty very quickly as he found success. And you know what, landing a guy like Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, that set this thing off into the stratosphere that really I don't think will be repeated. And I wasn't here for all of them, but if it wasn't for a call or two, they had a shot to win 5 straight NBA titles. I mean, it's remarkable how dominant they were for a stretch there.
I mean, you were on the court then when they lost to Miami, then when Ray Allen hit that corner three-pointer, still thinking about it, I think it's so remarkable in the modern era of the NBA. You look at players, star players changing teams seemingly every 4 or 5 years, coaches getting recycled. That just doesn't happen here in San Antonio. Not with the head coach, but also, too, not with the players. You have the same core of guys, Ginobili, Parker, Duncan, and all those guys still live here in San Antonio. It's not just basketball. It's not just an organization. It's a family, and it starts with the patriarch, really, Gregg Popovich.
Yeah, it's a culture that's really unrivaled in all of professional sports. I mean, when we say that the Spurs are the gold standard of the NBA, really, they're a gold standard in all of professional sports, the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, hockey. I mean, at any level, this organization has done it the right way. And what other pro organizations do, especially in the NBA, they look at the roadmap. I mean, think about the number of people that have left this organization, like Sam Presti, what he's built with the Thunder in Oklahoma City. That's a roadmap he took from Gregg Popovich and the staff in San Antonio, for example.
You look at the imprint, it's not just they're looking at the Spurs, they're taking from the Spurs. There is currently 6 sitting head coaches right now in the NBA. There were 7 before Taylor Jenkins was relieved with the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm assuming he's probably going to get a job down the road here soon. But there are 6 former Popovich assistants or players right now at other jobs in the NBA because people want what's happened here in San Antonio. Gregg Popovich's imprint all over the association. You look at how he values the aspect of family, players taking time away from the team to spend with their family. Gregg Popovich is the first ever coach to hire a female as an assistant in major North American men's sports. That was the first to do that, and it wasn't something that he ever made a big deal of. It was just something that he thought was natural. He's never been about himself. He's always tried to live away from the spotlight. He's done a good job of that here in San Antonio. He's always tried to put the focus on the players first, and Gregg Popovich's humility is why players have him as one of the most respected players in the people in the league.
Well, and to your point, you look at other players from other teams, other franchises, they all adore and admire the man. They always comment about him, whether he was becoming the all-time winningest coach or winning another title. Everybody reaches out and is excited for a guy like Gregg Popovich. We see the gruff part of it. You know, sometimes he throws some shade at the media, but really everybody speaks so highly of him in the NBA family. It's really unrivaled.
And I think you saw it today as well, too, in the announcement shortly after Popovich announced he was stepping down, the announcement of his replacement, his successor, Mitch Johnson, coming less than an hour or so later, where he didn't want to make the story and the spotlight about himself. I'm going to step down, but immediately I'm going to turn that spotlight onto Mitch Johnson. And I think it's well-deserved that Mitch Johnson is getting a shot as a full-time head coach. This is just my opinion. There's a lot of Spurs fans out there who said, oh, well, the Spurs didn't make the playoffs here with Mitch Johnson leading the team. But when you think about it, really difficult circumstances for Johnson to step into, and then obviously losing Victor Wembanyama, losing De'Aaron Fox for the season. You can't judge Johnson by his record coaching the Spurs this season, I don't think. And the fact that it is such a familial organization, Johnson's been with this organization a decade. He started out in the G League in Austin. He sat next to Popovich as an assistant with the Spurs. Now, with Coach Pop stepping away, but still close enough where he can have his imprint on things, it's not where Gregg Popovich isn't stepping away and he's going to be an advisor role. I thought it was interesting. He's stepping away, but he's stepping right into president of basketball operations. He's still very much going to be in the mix, but just the grind of the road games and the traveling and being there every single day. I think that's why we're not seeing him on the sideline, but he'll certainly very much be in the ear of Mitch Johnson moving forward.
Yeah, you know, in listening to the end-of-year sound from all the players before that final regular season game, I just got the sense that all of the current roster players really were in Mitch's corner and a Mitch guy. And like you mentioned, they got 5 games together with Fox and Wemby, and that was it. So I think a lot of people felt that Mitch really didn't get a fair shake. And to stay in-house, it is so the Spurs way. So I'm not really shocked by that move either. I didn't think it would come the same day, but here we are, and I'm happy for Mitch.
I'm a big fan of Mitch Johnson. He's a Seattle guy, went to Stanford, played with Brooke Lopez, the Lopez twins at Stanford. I was talking with them earlier in the season. They said, hey, we used to call this guy the maestro because he always knew where everybody was going to be. He was a total student of the game. He was one of the closest confidants of DeJounte Murray when DeJounte was growing up, a big reason why he came to San Antonio. DeJounte Murray credits Mitch Johnson mostly for a lot of his successes in the NBA, for putting him on the right path. Players talk very, very highly of him. I think he definitely deserves a fair shot at this job. And especially, again, looking to where Gregg Popovich is coming from, yes, there's some big names out there, right? Michael Malone just got relieved of his duties in Denver. Taylor Jenkins, the former Spurs intern, is out there. You see people like Becky Hammon when she come back to San Antonio. All those are great names, but right now, Gregg Popovich can still have his input in that locker room because he knows Mitch Johnson was most recently there, and he's the guy who's got that closest connection to him, where it really is a seamless transition where Gregg Popovich is still going to be very much involved.
He's been inside the organization. I mean, he's been sitting on the bench for more than a few years now. He knows I hate to keep saying it, but the Spurs way. So a guy that's been in the building, so it makes sense. Some will say, to your point, oh, there's all these big names out there that you just mentioned, but no, this is what the Spurs do. So to them, I think this makes perfect sense, and big fan of Mitch, excited for him.
And it's not like the cupboard is bare either. You've got Victor Wembanyama expected to return for the start of next season. De'Aaron Fox, now a full campaign of him. The reigning Rookie of the Year now, Stephon Castle. 2 picks for sure in the top 15. 2 lottery picks you'd assume coming in. A lot of trade capital to work with. Devin Vassell returning. Keldon Johnson. there's a lot of players on this team that you could build a potential future dynasty around, starting with Victor Wembanyama. You have your franchise face. Looks like Stephon Castle's on the star trajectory. Mitch Johnson certainly will have some toys to play with moving forward.
I told people all day today, he's got a lot of good problems to have. I mean, this roster, I don't know if stacked is the word, Nate, but there's potential. There's all-star potential on this roster, and who knows how the lottery's going to work out and what those draft picks may be. Summer capital, can some deals be made? So, yes, as Sean Elliott has said many times this past season, the good days are returning.
You were on the streets earlier, getting the pulse of Spurs Nation, talking with some fans, just immediate, instant reaction. What did you have to hear from some of the folks out there, their take, especially in the wake of the news?
Honestly, emotional. People were upset. I mean, they kind of feel like their Fiesta Friday's been interrupted with the emotions of this. But there was so much respect out there downtown today in San Antonio given to Coach Pop, what he's meant to San Antonio, the Spurs, just to them as fans. Like, he means so much to them. The culture he built that not only was for the Spurs, but they feel like he built a culture that has impacted and affected this city.
Oh, for sure.
So there was just so much positive support out there for him today. It was remarkable.
Think about how much the city has grown from 1995 to 2025 and how much the Spurs are responsible for putting the national spotlight on this city. And at the root of that is Gregg Popovich. You look at how really the economy's boosted, how, other things around town, architecture, how the city has advanced so much over the past few years, bringing in tourism, bringing in national eyeballs, a lot of it at the root of the Spurs' successes, and Gregg Popovich the biggest reason for it.
So years ago, there was a UTSA football assistant coach named Jeff Popovich.
Okay.
There was no relation, but I asked Coach Pop one day, I said, Coach Popovich at UTSA said, there's no relation, but he never pays for dinner reservations in the city. What do you think about him having a free meal in your good name? And he said, well, if it helps San Antonio, then I'm all for it. So.
Yeah, he's still got a sense of humor, though. I certainly know that. Yeah. I'm anxious to know when we'll hear from him.
I hope we get to.
I hope we get to. Yeah, he's not been about the spotlight, but I know the fans certainly would like to publicly say thank you. And when they do, when they are able to at the Frost Bank Center, I'm sure the team will plan some sort of ceremony. But when they're able to, that's going to be an emotional night.
I keep wondering if he will have a press conference, because when Tim Duncan retired, he didn't have a press conference. He did like a Facebook Live in his kitchen with his girlfriend and one of his boys from the Virgin Islands. So that's how Tim retired. So knowing how close those two were, it wouldn't shock me if he doesn't hold a press conference. But I hope he does, because I want him to have a chance to say what he wants to say. He may not want to, but I hope he does.
And we're not saying goodbye to Gregg Popovich. We're just saying see you later, in a sense, because he is staying on as president of basketball operations. But a somber day for Spurs fans, saying goodbye as a head coach to the winningest coach in NBA regular season history. The architect of the 5-time champions. We've got coverage all afternoon long on air, 4, 5, 6, and 10. You've got the pulse of Spurs Nation.
Yep.
We've got what this means for now and moving forward. But for a somber day, again, Vin, saying goodbye to Gregg Popovich as the head coach as we know him. It's going to take some getting used to, I'm sure, over the next few weeks.
It's going to be different. We knew Mitch was on those sidelines in the interim role, but now we know for sure that Coach Pop won't be back down there. So that will take some getting used to, yes.
Coach Pop, thank you for everything.